Good morning. Last week we did, like previous week we did the break even. Then last week we started with project appraisal. Right? So I'll just brush you through that. Investment analysis and project financing. Okay. So project financing, what is it? It is long-term, large-scale projects lending for longer period. Okay. Nature, long-term, large investment, more complicated. Importance is large amount of resources we need to work. I'm not talking about smaller grocery shop or retail shop, a small, like building Colombo City Center, building Shangri-La apartments, like building a mini hydro power plant or Norachole power plant. Like that, bigger investment we are talking under project financing, right? Why we need PF is, it is bridging the funding gap and need for long term. Logic is, project rationally means logic and the outcome we require. This is the definition for project financing. I'm just brushing you through what we did last week, right? Is long-term funding of infrastructure or commercial projects based on the projected cash flows, right? This is the difference. I told you last week also, we do asset-based financing and cash flow-based financing. Cash flow-based financing, it is twofold again. Known short-term cash flow, that is working capital financing, like backed by a post-dated check or invoice, something like that. Then we know the amount, we know the period when we will get the money. But here under project financing, it is financing based on projected cash flows. Like think about the solar farm, right? Where we project the sunrise, clouds in the sky. Based on that, we project how many units of solar energy can be produced. Then whatever you produce, government will buy. So that is our turnover. Based on that, we decide whether a facility can be serviced or not, right? And again, projected cash flows of the project rather than the balance sheet of the project sponsors. Normally, whenever a project fails, smaller scale, if the project fails, we go behind the sponsors to collect the money. But in this scenario, we don't go behind the sponsors. We take over the project assets and give it to someone else to run the project. So it is without recourse. That means we are not going behind the sponsors, right? Then project cycle we have to identify a project, formulate, then you appraise, implement and operate and monitor. So this is the function. So project appraisal, we cover all these items. Market and commercial appraisal, technical appraisal, economical and environmental, financial, right? So any industry, any commercial viable project, most important thing is the market appraisal. Why? Without knowing the market, we can't plan anything else. It's not that we build the factory, we bring down the machinery, and then we look for market. No, we can't. We should know what is the market, to whom we are producing, to whom we are going to sell, what is the need we are fulfilling, what are the competition we have, what are the imports we have, what are the exports we can do. So then only we can have an idea about the market availability. Based on that, we can plan the technical part, human resource part, management part, environmental, and everything will rotate around this market and commercial appraisal. So any project, first and key most important thing is the market appraisal. Then we go on to say the technical appraisal. What is the methodology we use to produce, whether it is a batch production or a continuous production? What are the machinery we need? What are the infrastructure we need, like the roads, water supply, power supply, backup power generations, and all those things. Then what is the flow area we need, what kind of buildings we need? All those things covers under technical appraisal, right? Because when we know the market, based on the market capability, we can decide the plan. If I can sell only 100,000 pieces per month, I need to plan the factory to meet that. If you produce 500,000 pieces per month, no point. So it may be 150,000. Then you have the capacity to expand, right? That is the technical appraisal. Then goes to the management appraisal. Management appraisal is the human resource. What is the organization structure? What are the functions of different departments? Who are the key people we want to hire? What kind of experience and exposures we need? All headcounts, how many people we are going to hire? All those things again linked to the market. We know the market, we know the production capacity, then we need humans to operate this business, right? So we covered those things, then market, technical, management part. Then we went on to discuss the socio-economic study, right? That means what is the cost benefit? What is the cost to the society and what is the benefits to the society? Like how many jobs we generate to the local society. What are the raw materials we use from the local market? Like that, what is the social benefit or economical benefit the surrounding area will get or the country will get by this thing. Then the environment, that is the environment, right? So what are the waste we generate? How are we going to dispose that? What is the treatment? Is that like when you are doing a big project, you need to first of all, you should have a environmental impact analysis. That means what is the impact to the environment? EIA, right? Then you should have any manufacturing or hospitality, like any manufacturing or hotels, hospitals, those kind of service industries, we need to have a environmental protection license. That means under what conditions you can operate this factory or the enterprise, right? So you should look at the waste. How is the solid waste? What is the solid waste generation now, and how is it disposed? What is the wastewater and disposal? Whether there are any dust, noise pollutions, dust pollutions, all those things, radiations, those things, and what is the mitigations you take to protect the environment, right? That is the environmental part. Then we have the financial evaluation. What we do under financial evaluation, you need to project a P&L, balance sheet, and a cash flow. right? All these are based on projected. So you know the market, you know the capacity, therefore you can predict the turnover levels, operational levels and turnover levels. So you predict the P&L, then you work out the working capital requirement, you look at the cash flow, cash ins and outs of the business, and you work out the balance sheet for the future, maybe 5 years, 10 years for the life. Right? That is the financial evaluation. Then, yes. Then we started the methods of investment. Like if you are an investor, you have limited amount of money, right? So, but you have several projects. You have a apparel manufacturing plant, you have a solar plant, like you can invest anything. Then you want to decide the most profitable business to invest in, right? I have limited amount of money. I have 5 projects. Which project is the best project, right? So investment appraisal deals with that. So what we learned last time is the payback period. We have 4 investment appraisal techniques. We discussed the payback period, right? What is the time taken to recover the initial investment? Whichever projects gives the shortest time period to recover the initial investment is considered to be the best project. What is the time taken to recover the initial project? So you consider the cash flows and find out the time required to collect your initial investment. Let's see. Then we discuss what is cost of capital. That is the cost to be incurred to raise capital. Capital we have 2 types. It is the equity capital and the debt capital. Cash inflows and cash outflows, but money comes into the business and money goes out of the business outflows. I told I will discuss these 3 this week, right? So this is the example. There are 2 projects you have to compare. You have 100,000 investment. Can you see the board clearly? Can you see the board? Right. Right. So we have investment. Initial cost is 100,000. Right? It is a cost, cash outflow. Right? We say negative. 0 by 0 by 1 by 2 by 3 by 4, like that. We have a cash flow of 45K, then 40, $35K and 50K. Right? This is the cash flow of project A. Right? So what we have to work out is how long we take to recover this 100,000. That is the initial investment. So you have a 100,000 negative at Y0. At the end of Y1, you have earned 45,000 cash flow. That means this is the net cash flow. 45 is the net cash flow, all cash outs, after the all cash outs. So right. So you are left with 55,000 negative. That means this one plus this one is 55,000. Y2, end of Y2, you have another 40,000 cash in. So this you have 15,000 negative. Y3, third year, you have a 35,000 cash. That means for 12 months period, 1 to 12 months, you are earning 35,000. But in order to recover the initial investment, you need only 15,000 more. Now you have to find out how long it will take to find out how long it will take to generate 15,000. During a year, we generate 35, right? 35,000 you will generate by 1 year. So 1 rupee, to generate 1 rupee, 1 divided by 35,000, right? You need 15,000. So it is 15,000 divided by 35,000. It is 4.43 or something. So 2 years plus 0.43 years. Well, if you go to the handout, see, this is what I have done now. 15,000 is 43. Yeah. 2 years plus 15 divided by the amount you need to recover divided by the full year investment, full year earnings. So it is 2.43. Similarly, if you consider the project B, you have 100,000, 30 here, 30 here, 44 here, and 66 here. So again, if you work out, so again you work out the same thing. Instead of 45, you have 30. So it is 70 here. Another 30 here. So it is 40 here. 44 here. During the third year, you need to collect 40,000. But for the entire year, it is 44. So it is 40,000 divided by 44,000 plus 2 years. So it is 2.9 something. I must Right? So 44,000. So I forgot to do that. Right? This. So 40 divided by 44.91. Right? So first project, it takes 2.43 years. Second project, it will take 2.91 years. So under payback period, the best project is the project which recovers the initial investment faster. So out of these two projects, project A is better than project B, right? So we take that as the best project. Okay. That's all what we did last week. Is it clear? Do you want anything else? Like anything from the last week part? Do you have any question from the last week work? Yes, no. Can I proceed to the new part? Okay, I got one answer. Okay, thank you. Because if you don't answer, I will be confused whether you understood or not. Right? Right. Let us go. You are presenting to this thing. Okay. We discussed the advantages and disadvantages. Today we will start with ARR. Right? ARR is the average rate of return. On payback period, we consider the cash flows. ARR, we are considering the profit. What is the average profit? We are considering the relationship between average profit and the average investment. Right? Average profit and average investment. So whichever the project which gives you highest rate of return, highest rate of ARR, it has to be above the cost of capital, is considered to be the best. Highest rate of return. Right? If I go back to the board, ARR equals average profit divided by average investment. Right? Can you see the wording? Right? On the example, on the initial example, they have given you this cash flows and there's a depreciation is 20,000 and residual value is 20,000, right? So, right. So we consider project A, which is in blue, and project B, which is in black. So profit here would be 20, which is equal to 25K. This is 20, this is 20K, 15K, this is 30K, right? This is 10K, this is 10K, this is 24K, this is 46K. This is the profit, right? Initial investment is the same. At the end of the last year, you get another 20,000. What is the meaning of residual value? Residual value is the amount of money we can get at the end of the useful period or useful life. Like I have a plant which has a useful life of 10 years. After 10 years, I just sell it for scrap. Then I will get 20,000. Right? I'm just throwing it off. So I get this amount. That's the last amount. Right? So how we go about is this: if we take P1, profit 1, profit 2, profit 3, profit 4. This equals average profit P1 plus P2 plus P3, like that, Pn, divided by number of years, 1, 2, 3, 4. Number of years. It is 4 years. So it can be denoted as N. Right? So it is profit N equals 0 to N equals 1 to capital N, this is N, divided by capital N. This is average profit. Right? So that is equal 25, 20 plus 15 plus 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, divided by, it is for 4 years, 4. Right? So 45, 50, 60, 90 divided by 4. 90 divided by 4. Right? 45, 50, 60, 30, 90. Right? The similar way you can work out the average investment, which is equal to initial investment plus residual value divided by 2, which is equal to 100,000 initial investment plus 20,000 residual value divided by 2, which is equal to 60,000. Right? So 22,500, I think, divided by 60,000 into 100. So it will give you a percentage value. Right? Let us see the paper. Right. See this one. Annual profit equals net cash inflow minus depreciation. Average, calculate average profit. Total annual profit, that is the formula I gave, divided by number of years. Average capital investment, initial investment plus residual value divided by 2. Average profit divided by average capital investment into 100 is the ARR. Right? See, 25,000, 20,000, 15,000, 30,000 divided by 2, which is 22,500. Average capital investment is 100,000 plus 20,000, which divided by 2, which is 60,000. ARR is 22,500 divided by 60 into 100, which is 37,000, 37.5. What does this mean? It means per rupee invested, you will get 37.5 cents profit. Per rupee invested, you will earn 37.5 cents as a return. Hama rupiyalakatama rupiya 37.5% growth එකක් තියෙනවා කියන එක. So you do the same maths for average profit and average capital investment on project B. So you get this. It will also give the same answer. Which one is the better one? When you have a same answer, you can't consider which one is the best. That is a disadvantage we have with this method. We use profits, advantages. It is easy to calculate. Here we look at the entire lifespan of the project. Earlier, under payback period calculation, we consider the project only up to the payback point. Once we recover our whole initial investment, we are not bothered about the money afterwards. But here in this case, we look at the entire project cash flow, entire project's profitability, entire project's life. Right? So it is easy. We look at the entire project. We use profitability, not the cash flows. It is used for internal and external purpose, controlling purpose, performance and controlling purpose. Disadvantages are, again, we don't consider time value of money. We consider rupee today and tomorrow will have the same purchasing power. Rupee today and tomorrow is same on face value. But rupee today and tomorrow will be different on purchasing power. And again, we are using profits, so it is very subjective. Because depreciation is a subjective thing. Different companies can use different methods for depreciation. And again, depreciation is not an expense. It is a provision. So it is subjective. Difficult in use when the same ARR and various project size. Whenever you get a same ARR between two projects, we don't have a way out. And again, furthermore, when the project size is different, you can't use the same. One project is 5 years, another project is 10 years. Then you can't compare these two. One project investment requires 100,000, other project requires 120,000. Then you can't compare. So this project should be similar in nature, right? So ARR is the percentage between net cash inflow, percentage between average profits and average investment. When you take the investment, it is initial investment plus residual value, right? Please let me know, is it okay for you or you need anything? Yeah, is it okay or you want any clarification? I got 2 answers. 3. Okay, right? So then I will go to the other topic, which is time value of money, right? Let me try to explain it on the board first, then we will go to the other. Okay. Time value of money. Right? What is this? Face value of money is same any day, right? Today I have 100,000 rupees. If you keep it on your table for a year, it will be 100,000. But the amount of work you can do with this 100,000 change with time, right? Think about your own self, your salary, what you are doing today with your salary. Will you be able to do the same thing with the same salary after 1 year or 2? What were you earning last year and what were you doing? And can you do the same thing with the same amount of money this year? No, you can't. Because the purchasing power changes with time, right? Look at this. you have a 100,000 investment. Right? You invest in a FD with the interest of 1 for 1 year. End of the period, you will get 100,000 plus 100,000 into I. This is your investment. Right? So if we donate this one, present value, this is present value into I. So the full value, this is called future value. Future value would be equal to present value plus present value into I. Future value equals present value 1 plus I. Okay. It is easy for me to tell you. Whoever has a mathematics background or a commerce background will understand this easily. But who has an arts or bioscience background, it may be little difficult. So it is very easy. You have an investment today, you have some money today, which is we call the present value. Right? If you invest in a FD for 1 year, FD at the rate of I, it can be 10% or whatever. Right? So at the end of the period, you will get your initial investment, which is the present value of 100,000. Then you will get your interest component, which is part of your present value into the interest rate. Right? So this is also written here, present value equal plus present value into interest. Since both of them are common, I took it out and I have a bracket 1 plus I. So end of the first year, this is your investment. If you reinvest that amount for another year, Y2, right? What will be your initial investment? PV2. It is equal to this one. This is what you are going to get at the end of the year 2. So you are reinvesting it. Right? Future value 2 would be equal to present value 1 plus no. It would be equal to present value 2 plus present value 2 into I. Same interest rate we assume. Right? What is present value 2? It is the future value 1, which is equal to present value 1 plus I, present value 1 plus I into I. This one and this one both the same. So you can say present value 1 plus I equals 1 plus I. Here, you take this one now, so it is 1. You take this one now, I is remaining. So present value into 1 plus I to the power 2 equal future value 2. Right? So, whenever you have this kind of progressions, right, you want to find out after 3 years what will be the position, right? Future value 1 plus future value 2, like that. So you can generalize that equation. Future value equals present value 1 plus I to the power n, right? I to the power n. This is the present value, future value formula, right? Future value equals present value, the initial investment, into 1 plus I is the interest rate, n is the number of years. So this one is 2 years is this 1 plus I to the power 2, right? This is 2 here. If you want to find out after third year, what is the future value? This 1 plus I to the power 3. Fourth year, 1 plus I to the power 4, like that. So this is the formula we are going to use for time value of money. Time value of money is the actual purchasing power in the future. How the value of money changes with time, right? Future value equals present value within bracket 1 plus I to the power n. This is the only formula we have for next two items, right? So we projected future. I have initial investment today. I make a fixed deposit today. What will be the future value after 5 years? Then I have initial investment. I have an interest rate which I use to calculate this initial investment, and you have the number of years 5. So it is present value into 1 plus I to the power 5. If it is 10 years to the power 10, like that it changes, right? This is the present time value of money. Please let me know whether you understood it. Time value of money, is it right? I need at least 50% of the class to say yes or no, because all my other parts will stay on this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. The only requirement here is to know this formula. You don't need to work out workings of this. I just did this working to make you understand, right? So future value equals present value to the into 1 plus I, which is the rate we use to calculate the present value, into the power n. N is the number of years, right? That is the future value. Now we have to work out other way. Look at this. You have a initial investment, present value. Year 1, you will get Y0, Y1. You will get future value 1. You reinvest it, you will get future value 2. You reinvest that, you will get future value 3 by 3. Menaka hari Menaka, mata method mein presentation mein upset tag lagate. Right, okay, thanks. Right, so you have Y0 present value, that is the initial investment. Every year that investment will generate a additional sum and come as future value 1. You reinvest that future value 1, you will get future value 2, like that you will get. So that is future value equals present value into 1 plus I to the power n. Right? This is the formula we are going to use in the future items. Right? Now, same way, if someone tells you, you have option, I will give you 100,000 in after 1 year, or you can take 75,000 today and do your work. You have option of taking 75,000 today or 100,000 after 1 year. How do you compare these two? So, in order to compare this, you have to bring down this future value to today's value. What we did earlier, we have today's value, we work out the future value. Now, it says, I will give you 100,000 after 1 year, or you have the option of taking 75,000 today. Right? In order to see whether taking 75,000 is worth or wait for 1 year to take 100,000, you have to have both values on same timeline. That means you have to work out the both values on the same day. So you bring the future value to today's value. How can we do that? We have a formula here. We work out that present value equals, you divide this, future value divided by 1 plus I to the power n. If it is 2 years, year 2, this will be 2. If it is year 3, this will be 3. Right? So present value would be this. Right? Power n. Future value equals present value this. You work out the present values in the same formula, then this formula would be this. Because In project investment appraisal, what we try to do is we project our future profitability. But today we have a initial investment. We are trying to compare two projects with the similar size, similar lifespan to see which investment is better, right? So in order to do that, you need the present value, right? So I will go to a project now. You have initial investment here, which is called I. Which is at y0. Then y1, you have, we say, return 1. Y2, you have return 2. Y3, you have return 3. Y4, you have return 4. Right? So these are of different timelines. You have to bring down everything to one timeline, that is today. What you do, you bring down, you discount this to this date. Then R2 to this date. R3 to this date. R4 to this date. Right? Using the formula present value equals future value into 1 plus I to the power n. Right? So we have present value 1, present value 2, present value 3, present value 4. So present value 1 would be equals to R1 divided by 1 plus I. I would be the interest rate applicable, n equals 1. Then present value 2, which is R2 divided by 1 plus I to the power 2. Present value 3 equals R3 1 plus I to the power 3. Present value 4 equals present value 3 equals R3 divided by 1 plus I to the power 3. Present value 4 equals R4 divided by 1 plus I to the power 3. 4. Right? So these are the things. So you take this one. What are the total value? Present value 1 plus present value 2 plus present value 3 plus present value 4, which is equal to R1 1 plus I to the power n, R2 1 plus I to the power 2, R3 1 plus I to the power 3, R4 1 plus I to the power 4. Right? We can write the same thing as sigma n equals 1 to capital N present value divided by 1 plus I to the power n. right? Future value, right? So this is the, like, you bring down all the future cash flows to today's value, right? Then after bringing down all cash flows, you subtract the initial investment, right? Minus initial investment. Sorry, here this has to be future value. This has to be present value, total present value, right? So you bring down all the future values to year 0 and all subtract the initial investment. This is called net present value, because you bring down all the future values to today, that is your profitability cash flows, subtract the initial investment, so you will get the additional money left over, right? You get all the future values to today's date and subtract the initial investment you need to do. So extra money left over after deducting the initial investment is called the net present value, right? So our next calculation is net present value calculation, right? So we are considering time value of money now. We are not talking about 100 rupee today and 100 rupee tomorrow, both the same. No. We will bring the future cash flows to today and we will subtract the initial investment to find out the difference between initial investment and expected future cash flows. And let me go to the presentation now. Right? This is the time value of money. What is the difference? 1 rupee we did. Interest cost, like why this purchasing power changes, inflation, interest cost, other risk materialize, the money, those things. Then you have the formula. I is the cost of capital. 1 plus 1, this 1 divided by 1 plus I is called discounting factor. Right? We say present value equals future value 1 plus I. Right? This factor is called discounting factor. Right? 1 divided by 1 plus I is the I to the power n here. Always n. Right? If it is first year, n is 1. If it is second year, n is 2. Like that. This factor 1 divided by 1 plus I to the power n is called discounting factor. Right? So we did a similar thing here. Present value is 1 rupee and 1 plus I 10, then it will come to this. Right. These are the discounting factors. This is equals 0.909. Right. If they ask you to calculate similar thing, they will give you the discounting factors. 1 divided by 1 plus I equals 0.909 if the I is 10. You can work out and see the equation goes like that. Right? This one, this equation here. Right? This equation 1 divided by 1 plus I equation. Right? So this is 1 divided by 1 plus I to the power 2. This is 1 divided by 1 plus I to the power 3, where I is 10%. So these are called discounting factors. Right? This is the first year, first project. I take out all this. Now we will put the figures. Right? I'll put the figures and show you the board. This is 100K. R1 is 45. R2 is 40. 35K and 50K. I equals 10%. So 1 divided by 1 plus I equals 0.909. So discounting factor for this is 0.909. Second one, 0.826. 0.751. 0.683. 1 plus I to the power 4, 1 plus I to the power 3, 1 plus I to the power 2, 1 plus I to the power 1. Right? Look at the board. You have initial investment of 100,000. End of the first year, you will get 45,000. R1 41,000. R2 40, 35,000 and 50,000. These are the projected cash flows for the next 4 years. You have discounting factor calculation here. 1 divided by to the power n. I is 10%. So this is equal to 0.909. Second year discounting factor would be 0.826. Is 1 plus I to the power 2. This is 0.751. 1 to the 3. 1 divided by 1 plus I to the power 4. This is the factor. Right? Now you have to bring all the these future values to today's value. Right? Present value 1 equals 45K into 9.909. Present value 2 equals, right, 40 into 0.826. This is 35 into 0.751. 50 into 0.683. Present value 3, present value 4. Total present value equals present value 1 plus present value 2 plus present value 3 plus present value 4. Right? This is the total present value. You bring all the things to this point. Then subtract the initial investment I, 100,000. Then it is called net present value. Right? So you bring down all the future values to today's value by multiplying with the discounting factor. Once you multiply that with a discounting factor and bring down here, you have the total present values as per today. Total present values of the future cash flows. Then you subtract the initial investment from future cash flows. Present values of the future cash flows. Right? 100,000 you don't discount. 45 into this, then it will become 40,900. 40.8, 33, 35.7, so it is 26, 50, this into 34. So when you add all these things, 1, 2, 3, 4 plus this one is negative. So you have a 34,380, right? Similarly, you do the same thing for project B. You have this is the cash flow for that project, right? This one, these are the future expected cash flows, right? Then you have the discounting factors, similar things. Then this is your present values of these future values. So when you add up all these things, you get 30,000, whereas previous one you got 34,000. You are comparing two projects. So whichever the project which gives the highest net present value is the better project. Whichever the project which gives higher net present value is the best project, right? So project A is the best project or the project to be selected out of these two, right? Advantages and disadvantages are, we are using the time value of money. Cash flow over the entire project is considered, take account of risk, time risk we are taking. Disadvantages are NPV will not give correct decision when the project lives are unequal. One project is 4 years, one project is 8 years, you can't compare. NPV is difficult to calculate. Not like the previous two, payback period and the ARR, NPV calculation is little tougher, right? So, but this is the proper thing. We consider the time value of money as well. Right. Please tell me whether you are okay with the NPV or you want any clarification. I got one answer. Few more answers, please. Right. Then I will start in that case, I will start the last part. IRR. internal rate of return, IRR, which is called internal rate of return. It is the discounting rate where NPV equals 0, net present value equals 0, right? IRR is a theoretical factor. The discounting rate when the net present value is equal to 0. In order to find out IRR, we have a formula. This is the formula we have, right? In order to find out IRR, you have to work out NPV minimum of 3 times, right? You have to work out the NPV minimum of 3 times, right? So, IRR equals interest rate, right, where NPV is near 0 but positive, right, plus 1. I1. You have to apply, it is a guesswork. NPV equals future value divided by 1 plus I to the power n sigma n equals 1 to capital N minus I, right? This is the formula, right? You take a guesswork, I equals 20%, right? To calculate the NPV, I equals 1, right? Then you will get 7,000. This is the example, right? 7,000. Then you calculate again with a new one. NPV 2, 1, 2, I 2. Then when you put 2, your NPV would be this. So I want interest rate where NPV is equal to 0, right? At the interest rate of I1, NPV was here, right? At the interest rate of I2, interest rate was here, 7,000, 8,000. It is going this way. I2, we said I1 is 20, I2 30. Then your NPV is increasing. That means you are going on the wrong side. So you take NPV 3, I3, then I3 should be 10%. You have to come back. I1, I2, somewhere here, 10, right? So if the NPV is negative 3,000, then you are correct. Then we take this one and this one. First you guesswork, you put 20 or whatever you want to that formula and find out the NPV. If it is positive 7,000, you can take it. Then you put another guesswork, increase one, Then if it is increasing, you are going on the wrong side. So you have to get something below that 20. So you put another guesswork of 10 to make it a negative one. Then you will consider these two to find out IRR. Right? It's the other way around as well. You get put a I 20, you get a negative 7,000. You put 30, you will get a negative 8,000. That means NPV is going this way. You have to bring it to the other side. Then you give a other side of rates. Right? Then you will get a positive. So upside down. So equation would be discounting rate where NPV is zero, near zero, but positive. Then I2 is discounting rate at which NPV is near zero, but negative. I1 divided by positive NPV value plus absolute figure of negative NPV value into I positive value. Right? Now board is in full screen. What you do, first you have NPV value here, net present value. You take a guessed rate, discounting rate, 20% or 15% or 30%, whatever you feel good, you can take. You can find out the NPV. If you are lucky, you will get a 7,000 or positive figure. Then, if it is 20, you can place a 30, another guesswork. If it is increasing, that means you are going on the wrong, because you need a positive value and a negative value. Positive, if the second rate shows an increased value, you are going on the wrong direction. Instead of 30, you should go below 20. So you put 10. Then if it comes negative, you are lucky. If it is reduced but positive, you have to go further, one step. So you have to find out two discounting factors for interest rates where NPV is zero, near zero, but positive, and NPV is zero but negative. So you need these two discounting factors and the values of positive one and the negative one. Then you use this formula, interest rate or discounting rate where NPV is positive but near zero. Then this I2 is NPV is negative but near zero. I2 minus I1 divided by positive value where NPV is positive, that positive value, NPV value. Then forget about the negative factor. You take the pure value of the negative NPV divided by that into present, again positive value. So that gives you the IRR. So you use this formula. This is the discounting rate where positive but near zero NPV. This is negative but near zero. This is the positive value of NPV. This is the negative value. You don't take the negative sign, you just take the value itself. That's why these two lines is called absolute value multiplied by the positive value. It will give you IRR. So you can work out this and see 20, then you will have this, then 30 you will have this. So you apply that to the formula and see what is happening. It should give you this answer. Then similarly you do it for project B, then you should get this answer, right? So as a homework, please do this too, and don't look at the handout, the next page. So you just do the calculations and see how IRR is coming. Then we will discuss further next week. I will take another few minutes to finish this, but I don't want to finish it now. I will, because last part stretched a little bit. So I will do the IRR again next week, but before doing that, you have to do the calculation and come to the class, right? Right. Any question you want to ask me? Any question? If everything is clear, that's the end of the class. But if you have any questions, I can answer you. Is it okay? Then thank you. Jayani, R2, it has to, if the R1 is the positive one, R2 will be negative. We have to find out interest rate where two NPVs. First one, I1, should be interest rate where NPV is 0 but near positive but near 0. I2 is NPV is near 0 but negative. Okay. Right. So next week we will start with the IRR. Basically, you will have a recorded class next week, right? Okay. Thank you.